Yes, guys. It's Tiago's father, 89 here from the Red Sea podcast, and the revenge tour rambles on. The stop at Goodison, 4-1, an emphatic response to last season's absolute shit show from Everton. Virgil van Dijk comes up absolute trumps, and we are victorious. A fantastic display by our captain, Jordan Henderson. He was everywhere, and the best player in world football comes up with the goods. We're here with your match reaction. Let's roll that intro for Red Sea full time.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. But Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are all supporters, and we come from Liverpool.
Yes, mate. 4-1. And guess what? TF89 called it.
Well played. You got it spot on, mate.
Yes. The revenge tour rambles on. The short stop at Goodison Park. And, mate, it was never in that. From the kickoff, the players, they knew what this game meant.
Yeah.
Everton's disgusting shithouse behaviour from last season, where Virgil van Dijk was practically assaulted in broad daylight. And that is the response that we are looking for. That's the response of
it was a massive stop on the revenge tour, wasn't it? This was one of the biggest stations on the tour, wasn't it, of the revenge. So happy that we managed to go there. Biggest rivals, all the Benitez stuff as well. And to see Everton fans literally walking out at 2-0 after 20 minutes kind of said it all, where the belief is at the minute that it's in the toilet, isn't it? But no, really good performance overall. Absolutely smashed it. There was a little bit of a hairy moment, I feel, when it went to 2-1, just for a little while. Everton were pushing for that equaliser, but Mohamed Salah's third, Liverpool's third, Mohamed Salah's second did kind of put the nail in the coffin, and Jota rounded it off with a beautiful goal as well, didn't he? Another one from him as well.
Yeah, you say hairy moment. I don't think so. Like you're gonna get that with a team when a team pegs us back, they score. You're gonna have that frantic, that little bit of uplift in their performance. Yeah. But realistically, they really trouble us.
Not particularly, no. But I had Brighton in my mind from the 2-0 up to 2-2. That was all.
Yeah, Brighton played good football. Everton don't. There's a difference. Yeah, Brighton actually played some decent stuff. Ultimately, like I said, they scored a goal and they had a little spell where they were passing the ball, but they didn't even have a shot on target during that spell. They did not rattle or threaten our defence. And look, you might turn and say, TF, you're being a little bit bossy. You're being, but mate, we've just parked off our bitter rivals 4-1. Parked them.
No, really impressive.
Left them in the mud. It was impressive, and the goals, not only the level of goals, the quality of each finish,
unbelievable.
The quality of every single one of those goals, right from the build-up play to the actual finish, was insane. We have the best attack in European football.
You can't stop scoring goals, can they? It's constant. I mean, even away from home, it's 3-4.
31 goal advantage.
It's madness.
Mate, Chelsea are on 21, City are on 27. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Madness. Goal difference of 31. And it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you look at that league table, and I love Ali McCoy's on commentary, and he's saying the quality of the three teams at the top of the table. I can't remember seeing a three-way title race of this level. We've seen Liverpool and Man City go at it, and you have to be perfect with that 99, 98 points season. But I mean, it's nip and tuck, and it's going to be the whole way through, isn't it, between these three sides? And I thought we might be in for a little bit of a drop points. Aston Villa got one back against City. Watford equalised against Chelsea, but all three win, and it's as you were, isn't it?
Yeah, all three sides are absolutely resilient. But of the teams which I think will crumble, of the three teams I think will crumble, Chelsea's the one that will crumble. Only reason being that they've not been here before, so to
Yeah, fair.
speak.
Yeah,
They're quite a new team in terms of the personnel that are in there. Yes, I know Thiago Silva's won titles. Yes, I know Rudiger's won. They do have title winners in there, but as a team and as a collective, they've
mm,
not been in this position before. So I think they'll crumble away. City is the team which I fear the most, only because they're the only team that which I know in modern football how it is now that are capable on going on runs of
yeah,
10 games unbeaten, 12 games unbeaten. And we're not talking draws, we're talking wins.
yeah. Win, 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 win.
Win, 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 win,
Yeah,
win. And when City get into that stride, like you said a moment ago, you have to be perfect. You cannot afford to lose.
mm,
There's no draw, there's no lose. It's you can only win. And that's
yeah,
where City differ to Chelsea, that they are capable of going on these extended runs, these extensive runs, which is unbelievable, never been seen before in at this level of the game. I appreciate Manchester United in the 90s and early 2000s were doing something very, very similar, but the level of the game has changed. The quality in the game has changed. These players are athletes. Yeah,
yeah.
they're relentless. So it's going to be very, very interesting. This title race is going to go down to the wire. One of the three will drop out, and my money's on Chelsea.
Fair play. Be good to watch. I mean, it's an interesting one. I think Chelsea go to West Ham Saturday. I think City go to Watford in the evening game, and obviously we've got Wolves away. So again, there's 2 points between three teams. They could swap round 100 times, couldn't they, between now and the end of the season?
Difficult game for Chelsea though. West Ham are no
Not easy.
pushover. West
Not
Ham are no
easy. Sure.
pushover. And they're going to be up for it because, it's a London derby, so to speak. So West Ham are going to have a point to prove. And if
Absolutely.
a fully fit West Ham roll into town, they're capable of anything, like we found out.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's at the London Stadium as well. So
Could be could
interesting.
be could be
Somewhere
the
we
top
drop points.
100%. It could be the top three bogey team, really, couldn't it? They could be the bogey team for the top three. They
But the best of the
essentially,
rest at the minute.
yeah, they nick points off. Let's say they nick points of all the nick points over the course of the season of all the top three. It makes it very, very interesting in that
Yeah,
respect. But
100%.
let's get into the goals. So,
Absolutely.
mate,
Oof.
talk to us about goal one.
Oh,
It was sumptuous.
unbelievable.
It
I
was
mean,
sumptuous.
to be fair, Jordan Henderson has been on this journey, isn't he? Where everyone goes back to he was nearly sold to Fulham, and his running style wasn't great, and Fergie turned him down. And I'm gonna be brutally honest, I was one of his biggest critics when he came in. I think he always had the potential. I think we might have signed him a little bit too early, or he could have done with an early loan. I think he was a lot of pressure at a big fee, being signed by Liverpool at a time where we were crap.
And by club legend as well.
And by club legends. There's a lot of pressure in there, So
Yeah.
look at the journey he's been on. He's vice captain under Gerrard. Now he's captain, and he's started to get assists and goals as well. He can play defensive midfield as a deep line playmaker if Fabinho's missing. He can play box to box, and he can link up with Salah. And assists and goals even over the last three or four games. He's got everything. He is genuinely world class, and there is no other captain I would prefer to be in charge of this team, because I look at him every time they clip to him. He's not just standing there silent. He does not stop. Constantly, every single second of that game, he is speaking to someone. He's organising something. He's pointing at someone. He's getting into someone. And you need that. Roy Keane was the most successful Premier League captain that I've seen, up there with John Terry, but just relentless, just demanding absolutely, professional. You expect everybody to be at it 100% of the time. And if anybody drops, you're in their ear. We're 3-1 up, we're 4-1 up, and they cut to Hendo, and he's still in their ear. But the finish comes across on his left foot, and he curls it, and it's probably a yard out of the goal with that curl, and it curls back in beautifully. And that's his left foot, and he's just getting better and better. And yeah, I might have to get him on the back of my shirt next season if he carries on.
There's not enough superlatives that you can use for Jordan Henderson.
Unbelievable.
Because you're right, his Liverpool career didn't start on the right trajectory. There was a possibility of a move to Fulham, but he stayed and fought for his place. And we're now seeing the outcome of 10 years worth of hard work. He's been at Liverpool 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, that Red Men documentary is fantastic if you haven't seen it.
This is what I'm saying. He's been at the club for 10 years. And people fail to realise the credentials. He's captained England at every single level.
Should still
right the
be.
way through from schoolboys to senior. He's captained England at every single level. That tells you the caliber of the individual that we have on our hands, the sheer mentality on the man. And he personifies what our tag was, mentality monsters.
Yeah.
He is a mentality monster. There isn't anything that can break him. There's nothing that can break him. Even going through and playing in a season with 98 points when his father was suffering with throat cancer,
Yeah.
still playing, still grafting,
Yeah.
yeah, putting results together, unbeaten runs. We only lost one game that season, yeah, then
Yeah.
culminated in a Champions League win as well. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That tells you the character on the man is unbelievable. And tonight the finish was absolutely
Left
sensational.
foot as well. I mean, that's a good goal with
Left
with
foot.
your strong foot, let alone your left foot.
This is what I'm saying. Left foot, right foot, outside of the foot passes, tiki taka. You know, there was a bit on the byline where he receives the ball
Yeah.
and he's in a tight space and he wiggles out of it.
He makes
There,
Dina, didn't he?
he megged him and makes Dina look like a mug. And
Yeah.
people fail to give him his respect just because it doesn't look sexy, just because it doesn't always pass the eye test. Yeah,
Mm.
he's an industrious, hard-working midfielder. But if he needs to turn it on, he's displayed that he can turn it on.
Yeah. He can
And
be
that
good to the eye. He's added that to his game, I feel.
I think it's always been there. It's
Mm.
always been there. You
Yeah.
you look back, they were showing a reel of some of his finishes. The top bins against Chelsea, where Courtois, one of the biggest goalkeepers in world football, is scrambling. Oh, come on. Like set again, another finish where he sets it out and he just wraps it. He's got that in his locker. Like you said,
He's
left foot
got some
finishes,
bangers.
right foot finishes. He scores bangers. So
Mm.
just give the man his flowers. All rival fans, just give him his flowers and be done with it. He is a superb, fantastic footballer. And that goal tonight personifies exactly why he's a captain of this Liverpool side.
Amen.
So we jog it on slightly, and again, Liverpool are in the ascendancy. We're controlling, dictating the pace in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Thiago's pulling the strings. Jordan Henderson's making those forward runs, supporting Trent. Trent's whipping balls into the box, and Jota. What an absolute fantastic run into the box. It opens things up. And talk to us about goal number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's Henderson again, isn't it? Henderson plays the ball down to the right, down to Salah. And, you know, if in doubt, if you've got a player that's, you know, Usain Bolt in terms of speed, and you know, if you give him half a yard, half a chance, he's probably going to score. Why would you not look for him every time you get the ball? Get your head up. You know, you look at the season Leicester won the league. Get your head up. Where's Vardy? Give him the ball. Give him a chance behind the defenders. He'll score. And you know, that's what you have to do at times. You know, tiki taka is great. Walking it in is great. But at the end of the day, if you've got, let's be fair, probably the best player in the world right now, give him the ball. Plays it down the right hand side. He's got a lot of space, but the angle's difficult. He's a good first touch. He draws Pickford out. Could he be in a slightly better position as a goalkeeper? I'm sure you'll tell us more with your background. But for me, the finish is just sublime. It has to go there. It has to go in the side netting, because otherwise, if he curls it in a little bit too much, Pickford is probably getting a hand on that. So unbelievable finish. And it's just, again, Mo Salah, that they mentioned it, that he scores the most varied type of goals. You know, we think of Messi as big dribble and a finish, and we think of Ronaldo as a big powerful guy now in the penalty area. But Salah, you know, left foot, as we said, right foot. He can go on a dribble. He can score volleys. You know, he's got headers. Everything that you could imagine as a goal scorer, he has. And you know, there's never any doubt. He goes through on goal. You're like, well, that's going to be a goal. And the angle was really hard. And I'm just sitting there like, wow, you know, he's
You're
put that in
right.
so easily.
You're right. And you talk about the goalkeeper. The keeper's got to do better. He
Yeah.
comes out and he doesn't make himself big enough. He's not narrowed the angle for Mo Salah. Ultimately, you'd back yourself at the near post.
Yeah.
So why is he giving him all of the far post? So you'd back yourself to get down and make that save. So I would personally bring myself out of the goal and align myself with the angle of the rear post and say, okay, go on then, go there. because I know you're not going to beat me. I know you're not going to. Sorry, I'd angle myself with the angle of the rear post because I know you ain't going to beat me at that front post. Because that means that the goal that he has to go. Well, you say he's not going to beat you there because we'll get onto the Jota goal. But
I was thinking that in my head.
but that's what I'm saying. It's got to be a superb finish. It has to be a superb finish.
Had to go there, yeah.
It has to go there, and that's what you do. You back yourself, and if it does go there, you come in and go.
Not a lot you can do.
Not a lot you can do. But Jordan Pickford, being a crap goalkeeper that he is, he's giving him all of the other side. And realistically, a finisher or a player with a caliber of finish that Mo Salah has, what do you expect the outcome to be?
I agree.
That's not the first curled finish. We saw him do the same thing at Watford.
I mean, it reminded me.
It's an identical finish. It's an identical finish.
It reminded me as well. Salah's goal against Dean Henderson at Old Trafford as well. I think Henderson, the angle, he doesn't do himself any favors where he puts himself. But like you say, you give Salah a little sniff. 10% chance of if you put it in that exact spot, mate. You know, that's where it's got to go to score. And he's like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, 100%. And he backs himself every time. And what a fantastic finish.
Yeah.
So we roll it on to goal number 3.
Yeah, I think the killer blow for me, and I agree with you. I don't think they had any clear-cut chances at 2-1. I think they got momentum. I think they started to put some passes together in the midfield, and the territory was a bit more. One thing I just want to touch on before I describe, obviously, into goal 3 is the simulation today from Everton. I'm sorry, is poor, and they got called out for it twice. And Gordon's one, where Robertson gets a booking, is disgraceful. If Mo Salah has dived tonight and got a yellow card for diving, we would not hear the end of it for about a month. 3 Everton players tonight have dived so obviously. 2 have been caught out, and 1 somehow has conned the referee right in front of his face. So that was really, really poor for me. That's a team that's absolutely desperate, isn't it, for playing like that?
I have a little bit of a different take on it.
Okay.
And this is my take. Unfortunately, it's become a figment of the game. I don't think it's an error of desperateness from Everton. I just believe it's become a figment of the game, where players not necessarily con the referee. If there's 2 elements to it, they anticipate the contact. So they're almost thinking that the contact is going to come. So if the contact does come, then I'm going to go down. So that's the anticipation of the contact. Or they play for the contact, which means they might leave that little leg trailing a little bit in there, thinking that he's going to buy. That's what I'm saying. He's going to buy it, and when he doesn't, when the player doesn't buy the contact, because players know, they all know. Robertson knows he's going to try and make the contact. He's going to try and get contact, because then what it does is it gives the referee a decision to make. And you know what? I don't often applaud Premier League referees, because sometimes I think they have some absolute howlers. But the ref's had a good game tonight, because he's seen what's happening. He's seen a trend of the game that Everton are trying to anticipate and play for contact. So straight away, he's given out 2 cards. And the last one, he's been conned. He's been conned on the last one, which is a shame, but you can't win them all. No, you can't win them all. And ultimately, it's just become a figment of the game, because Liverpool players do it, United players do it, Arsenal players do it, everybody does it. Because I'm not being funny. Imagine if you're through on goal, it's 0-0, it's the 87th minute, and you're clean through on goal. Player comes in from the side and goes to win the ball, but he wins it somewhat fairly. He gets something on the ball, little nick on the ball, and you go down like a sack of spuds. You are going to be jumping up and down for that penalty. You're penalty.
No,
all of that. Come on,
one, isn't it? In the moment, you are, aren't you? But exactly. I think realistically, after you've kind of had a think about it,
yes,
you probably think it's a bit naughty.
So, of course you will. Of course you will. And unfortunately, that's just the way the game's now built. It's something that's come in from continental football. They've been doing this for years in Italy. They've been doing it for years in Spain, rolling around on the floor like nothing's ever happened. Like do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Ultra freestyle swordsmen, go away. I've just seen
I was
your
gonna
comment.
get into him in a second, but I need to describe this third Liverpool goal first, don't I? So it's obviously a counter attack from a corner, a clearance. Andre Gray, was it Damari Gray?
Damari Gray.
Too many Grays in the game these days. Bit of a hospital pass to Coleman.
or in your beard.
Yeah, damn right. You got that spot on. So it's a bit of a hospital pass to Coleman, and he lets it go under his feet. And we were mentioning Everton's lineup last night on the preview show, and Coleman.
Mate, don't let him off that easily. Don't let him off that easily.
He seems to have been there a hell of a long time. He was there with Leighton Baines, and he's still there. So,
mate, that was a horrible touch. We crucified Jorginho for this the other day. Yeah, I said, if that was a touch to save your mum's dead, mate. Because that was horrendous.
It was poor. And as you say, once Mo Salah gets a sniff and you're running against your own goal, chasing Mohamed Salah, it's RIP, isn't it? There's no way back. You get a red card by rugby tackling him if you can catch him.
Exactly.
Before he scores.
Exactly.
And it was that.
Well, this is just it. He petted himself in glory a little bit because at least he got his head down.
Yeah, he gave it his best.
He gave it his best. He got and Seamus Coleman isn't a slouch.
Not at all.
It's just that Mo Salah is just so quick. So he got his head down. He tried to recover. He'd done everything to recover. He's got back. He's got hold of the man's shoulder. He's got on his shoulder and he's niggling away and he's chipping away and trying to put him off. But Mo Salah is a cerebral assassin. Yeah. Like he's just got ice running through. He's got ice running through the veins.
He does.
I'm not being funny. When you put a killer in front of the goal, he's going to kill it off. He's a killer. It's as simple as that.
Again, it reminds me of the goal where Dan James is trying to chase after him at Anfield from the Addison ball. It's exactly the same. You can't stop it. Even if you try and foul him, you can't do it. And again, I think Pickford could do better, but it's again, you've got that one place where that's going to be a goal. Pickford's hands there, it rolls just past it and then just into the corner of the net, and it's just that pace that just slowly rolls in, and you just think
those are the worst ones.
Wow, yeah,
those are the worst ones. You know why those are the worst ones? As a keeper, right? Because you're looking behind you and you can see it trickling towards the goal, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, that was the one, wasn't it? I think Everton got a little bit of momentum at 2-1. Once the third one in, everybody was like, oh, for God's sake.
It snuffed it out. And like you said, you saw fans leaving at 2-0.
Yeah.
Right. Even more of them were leaving at 3-1. Yeah. Even more of them leaving at 3. But do you know what, right?
I think there was a fire drill at 4.
Oh. but this is the thing. When they scored the one goal, and this is what cracks me up about Everton, mate. They scored that goal. I have never heard Goodison so loud in my life.
Yeah, literally.
They were rocking that they'd scored that. I'm like, dude, you're still under. You're 2-1 down, under the cosh. Yeah, at potentially the champions elect. Like,
hope so.
Like, come on, like you're gonna get parked off. What have you got to celebrate? And they were like super fired up. They were super like revved up. Like all of a sudden, we're back in it, and we're gonna go into the ascendancy. We're gonna control the game and all of this. And Jordan Henderson was like, "Nah, bro."
Salomon Rondon does one press. They're like, "Oh my god, here we go." No.
And then injured himself doing the press. Like, can you see, he tweaked a groin or something because he's like, "Oh my god, I'm injured now for 6 weeks. I'm out because I'm pressed."
Absolutely. Now that was the final, almost the final nail in the coffin. And we'll get on to the last one, because just before we do, I want to kind of touch on Swordsman's comment here. No clean sheet, but 2 assists from Robertson, which I think he got one at the weekend as well. So he's back, right?
Why are you guys setting this agenda?
Robbo is back, mate.
Dude, right, okay. Let's be very, very clear. We discussed this the other night. Rotation and competition for places is a good thing.
I said he'd start though, didn't I?
No, you did. You called it, and I was like, nah, start Timicas. And then when we discussed it more, I was like, actually, no. For the magnitude of the game, what it means in the grand scheme of things in terms of the revenge, Robbo's got to start. So he started. He's come in. He's bagged 2 assists. He's been impeccable. I wouldn't expect anything less from Andy Robertson. But here's a different tact. Do you think we'd be seeing this level of football from Robbo at this stage in the season if Timicas hadn't come in and done what he's done?
No, I completely agree with you. He's pushed him to be better and to get back to that level he was at before. I completely agree with you, which is what you
So
need. Healthy
yeah,
competition.
100%. So I still feel that Timicas has got to play games in order to keep Robbo on his toes. So
Mm.
so I think that, like we said yesterday, and like we concluded yesterday, that Timicas plays against AC Milan,
Yeah, I think so too.
um,
And
and
Leicester
Timicas, unless I don't think, I
in
think
the
Robbo
cup.
plays. Oh, and sorry, in the cup, yeah.
Yeah.
So and Timicas plays against Leicester in the cup. So I feel there's a lot of football to be played, but just let it be known, if Andy Robertson slips from his own lofty standards, these are the standards which he set. No one in the league has been as good. Everyone was talking crud about Luke Shaw last season. Oh, Luke Shaw's the best left back in Europe. He's the best left back in the world. Where are you now, bruv? Where are you now?
Yeah. I never got fooled by that. When they started saying Shaw's better than Robertson, Robertson had better stats in his worst season than Shaw did in his best.
Exactly. One
Come on,
swallow doesn't make a summer. Like,
damn
come
right.
on. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's levels to this, and Robertson's been setting consistent levels for 3-4 years now. This is nothing new for Andy Robertson. This is nothing new. He is consistent with his levels. So the moment he's dropped a notch,
Yeah.
we're judging him by what he's done previously, not against others, because there is no other. There are no others close. There's no other contenders. There's no
Mhm.
one else who's even remotely close to what he's producing. So for me, the Timicas competition is justified.
Yeah.
It's justified, and I want to see Timicas play more games, whether it's Premier League games, whether it's Champions League games, cup games, whatever it is, wherever Jurgen feels that it's necessary to play Timicas, he plays.
He will definitely get his chances. I mean, when you get through to the Christmas period and you've got a game every 2-3 days, he will be
Yeah,
in every other game in that period. And once
one
we're going
hundred
back
percent.
to a more of a usual kind of calendar again, he will be in there as the backup for all the cup games if Robertson has a knock, etc., etc. But yeah, I think he'll be very much be the backup. But that's all we ever wanted. We want the backup brigade to contribute, and he's more than done that.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the key thing. Like you said, the contribution is key. He's come in, he's grabbed assists
Yeah,
in the games that he's played. We've not lost,
not even conceded a goal.
not conceded a goal. What more do you want from a player of that level? What more do you want? And ultimately, the key thing that we've got to bear in mind is that position is not a position of concern now. Every
Mm,
time Robertson took a little bit of a knock, we'd all go,
yeah.
"Oh no!"
Oh.
You know what I mean? You'd sit
Yeah.
there and go, "Oh my god, it's over." Do you
We
see
had
what I'm saying?
remember that the Rusi, didn't we, or something? It's like I'll back up,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure what happened to him, to be fair. But
yeah. And then it was Alberto Moreno before that, and then you think to
Milner at
yourself,
times, which
Milner at times, and you're thinking this is not sustainable.
no, that's
But
right.
we've gone out, we've paid a nominal fee
Yeah,
for an
yeah, I never heard of
unknown,
him.
yeah, and he's come in and he's done the job, and that's
Yeah,
all you can ask for. Timicas, we salute you. Continue to perform at
absolutely.
that level and push the best left back in world football to be at the top of his game. Not be better, be at the top of his game, because it gets no better than Andy Robertson.
I agree. So from one positional to another, does Firmino get back in this team?
Yes,
Oof,
yes.
doesn't for
Jota,
me.
Jota's been unbelievable since he's come in. He's been unbelievable. But again, rotation is key. Yeah.
Mm,
I think rotation amongst Jota, Mane, and Firmino.
mm,
The only one of those that is nailed on that team sheet week
that's
in,
fair.
week out is Mo Salah.
I agree.
The rest of them are interchangeable. Mane didn't exactly have a superb game today. I thought he was quite quiet.
Yeah, it wasn't as I mean, he did okay on the ball, didn't he? But
Yeah,
he wasn't the usual
but
effective self, not compared to
but
Salah, no.
no, but by his own lofty standards. Like I said, he can only be compared to what he's been producing because nobody else has reached those levels over the last 3-4 years. There is no one else that's done it in the Premier League consistently to the same level and
No,
the same degree as Mane. So basing it on that, was that vintage Mane tonight?
no.
And we've had a couple of performances this season where we've seen or where we haven't seen vintage Mane. More often than not this season, he's been impeccable.
It's been brilliant this season. Yeah,
Been,
chalk
been
and cheese
sensational.
compared to last year.
Been sensational. But there still is those games where you think to yourself, ooh. And that's where Jota's been on fire.
Yeah.
We haven't had a game where both Jota and Mane have been on fire simultaneously.
No, it would be good, like you say, when Bobby comes back and we've got the front four all available, and you pick the three in form, not the three that aren't injured.
Exactly. And again, as much as you may hate this, the Adama Traore link won't go away.
Anyway,
It won't go away.
fourth goal.
No. Let's look at this. The only reason why I say let's look at
When's
this.
the last time Traore's got a goal? Just thrown out.
This is just it. I personally feel that with that pace and with that power, yeah, it is what Jurgen Klopp looks for. That's what he wants. He wants pace. He wants power. He wants
also wants quality
aggression.
footballers.
Okay. Let's deep this. None of those guys. And again, it's funny because I was watching a coaching seminar with Ralph Ragnick, who's about to come into Manchester United, and he made a very, very good comment on Mane, Firmino, and Salah.
Okay.
He basically says that those are the best three at pressing in world football. Yeah, they're the best three, right? He said there's no one better at pressing than those three. But before they went to Liverpool, they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that. He goes, I had Firmino at Hoffenheim. He couldn't do that. Yeah, we never saw that in Firmino. So that tells you, and what he was saying, he goes, that tells you it's the coach. He goes, what he was saying is that you can't. This was the funny one. He goes, you can't press a little bit. You can't a little bit press. You got to be all the way in or not. And he said his analogy was you can't be half pregnant. You're either in, you're either all pregnant or you're not pregnant.
True, that
is what he was saying, and it's as simple as that. So when you have a coach of the caliber, and the level of Jurgen Klopp, it doesn't matter what that player's done before. It's about what they can potentially do going forward. And for me, like I said, Adama Traore isn't a signing which we're sitting here thinking, oh, that would be a great signing. You know, he's doing a lot. He's pulling up trees at Wolves, but Jota wasn't pulling up trees at Wolves.
He was doing more than Traore was, numbers wise.
He was, but when you look at what the Wolves fans were saying, they were all bantering, going, "Yes, we've got rid of Jota. Oh, fantastic!" Now look, the man's a demon.
I mean, look at that.
He's a machine.
Look at that goal tonight. That touch, he means that back touch and that finish. I mean,
outrageous.
You could look at Pickford and say near post, but if you're at that angle, you absolutely blast it. It's the only finish that you can do, and unbelievable goal, and another goal for Jota. And I mean, he's still. I think other than Vardy, we've still got the top 3 goal scorers in the league. So,
mate, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. That is despicable.
Yeah,
that is total. That is total savage behavior. It's like, I know you want to win this ball, but guess what? You stand no chance. And then what I'm going to do after that is ram this ball down your goalkeeper's throat. Like,
he's so confident as well. It's great to see.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous football. It is outrageous. Yeah. Like, who does that? Who does that? Who knocks the ball behind the player's back, runs onto it, and then buries the ball top bins at point blank range? Who does that?
I haven't seen any goals like that. Brilliant goal.
It's ridiculous. And people, and this is another thing that pisses me off. People were saying, and to a degree, I was a little bit disheartened when this never happened. I was upset when we didn't sign Werner. Because I was like, what are we doing? How have we allowed Chelsea to get this player? You know, he wants Liverpool. We want him. It's a match made in heaven. The German connection with Klopp. We then go and do a £5 million up front and then 40 M's over 5 years on the never for Jota. And we're all sitting there thinking to myself, where are Liverpool at? Like, how have we done this? How have we put 5 M's down on a player? We're paying 40 M's over 5 years on a bit of Chucky. It's on the never. So, I mean, it's like DFS fucking credit. Like, what are we? Where are we at? Like, where are we at? And oh my god, what an absolute bargain! Now we're going to take a moment to bow our heads, because the sheer brilliancy of Michael Edwards in a transfer window. That is outrageous. Mate, 5 million. Let's 5 million up front. The remaining 40 over, I think it's 4 years.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. That is outrageous.
Yeah.
So I just think to myself, we can never ever prejudge a player because we've been here before. You know, Robertson's an example. Timmy Cass is an example.
Yeah.
You know, Sadio Mane to a degree is an example. Mohamed Salah to a degree is an example.
Yeah, they've all kicked on when they joined Liverpool for sure.
Massively. Huge.
I don't want Traore. Sorry.
No, and I get it. You look at it and you think to yourself, fucking hell, that doesn't pass the eye test. He's fucking
I'll die on my sword. If we sign him and he becomes a worldie, I'll die on my sword and say I didn't want him, but I was wrong.
Look at that's what I'm saying. Look at that.
He was good tonight as well.
Prior to the Klopp era, but yeah, Matip on a free. He still falls under that Edwards catalogue, that Edwards back catalogue of signings. Like, mate, the list goes on. And all we need now is for Taki Minamino to fucking kick on. And the man's a fucking G. Do you know what I mean?
It's never going to happen, is it? He's all right coming on when you're 3-0 up and he can get an extra goal. But yeah.
He plays a role. He plays a role. Look. Yes.
Where's that block button?
Welcome. You're new in the
Only
comments.
joking.
I've not seen you before. Thank you for locking into the Red Sea podcast.
Welcome.
Make sure you're liking and subscribing as well. Welcome.
Absolutely.
But I honestly think he could play a role. Mate, could you imagine that as a counter-attacking beat? Could you imagine that as a press? Mate,
Don't need him.
Mate, could you imagine him pressing? Oh my sweet Jesus. Could you imagine that? If you're a centre-back and he's bearing down on you, yeah, that is insane. Can you imagine, mate? Can you imagine him?
We're not shopping at this level. Come on, we need to get better than this.
But we are though. Let's be honest. But we are. We have done. We have done for many years. And look at what we now have. We've got one of the best teams in world football.
Totally agree. But one of the best attacks on the planet. Absolutely. If not the best.
That's what I'm saying. We've been shopping in Audi while all these guys are shopping in Harrods, and we're getting Harrods figures.
Nah, Daddy Pig's correct. I agree with you. Too fast and shiny, no end product. 100%. I mean, like you say, you look at Mane, he was scoring goals for Southampton a lot. Salah was scoring a lot of goals in Serie A. So Jota was scoring goals at Wolves. I'm not saying he was a world beater, but he was scoring goals consistently. So for me, no.
I hear you, but I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I think it will happen because you've been linked with him for a little while, so you may need to get on board with it. And look, and again, I'll die on my sword. If he flops it, I'll go. Do you know what, man? How have we allowed this to happen? We'll get into the rant. I'm sure the moment that he
told you so will be coming along.
Yeah, I'm sure the moment you see the baby oil coming out and all of that crap.
Just put it on Mo. Oh dear, but no, it was a brilliant performance tonight, wasn't it? I mean, it's lovely to get one over your Merseyside derby rivals, and especially in their own gaff, especially after what happened there last year, and especially after they beat us at Anfield for the first time in about 20 years as well. So, really enjoyed the game tonight. It was pretty entertaining. It's lovely to have a midweek kind of roll of fixtures as well. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, it's on to Wolves, isn't it? Which is going to be interesting if you're going to see what Traore does against us.
Is that his audition?
Could be.
Because realistically, there's not that long left between now and January. And if we are going to do something, it's going to be January. And I honestly feel that it could be, listen, we'll give you 10. You take Origi.
Yeah. But a slight improvement, but I want better than both. They already sell Liverpool badged water for like a £5, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh man, can you actually imagine him in like a baby oil advert?
Oh, dear me.
Oh gosh, I'm telling you. Well, welcome back, mate. Welcome back. Make sure you're liking the video. No, look. Let's just take a minute then, because we are on the eve of January. January's not too far away.
Yeah.
And let's take we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
We'll give it 5-10.
Cool.
So realistically,
Mm.
because we know that we're losing Mane and Salah to the African Cup of Nations, although it has been confirmed they'll only be missing for the Palace and Brentford game, won't it?
Yeah.
So I know it's only 2 games, but it's still 2 games. And we do need to add to that forward line, whether it be in January, whether it be in the summer. Realistically, knowing how FSG spend, right? Who is a realistic target within the 40 M's bracket?
I think it's Rafinha or St. Maximan.
Do you know what? I like St. Maximan, but do you know the thing with St. Maximan, right? Because Newcastle now have money, we're preying on them getting relegated.
Yeah, they don't need to sell him, do they?
They don't need to sell him. They have to get relegated, and he has to force the move.
I agree.
For this to happen, right? Because 6-7 months ago, I'd have like, St. Maximan's in the bag. It's in the bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's as much a realistic option as it once was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Rafinha, mate, I would love Rafinha. But the challenge is his performances are just pushing that price tag.
Every
week. So when we go and knock the door and say, yeah, we'll give you 30 M's, they're going to go, you stupid. He's just bagged 10 this season. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, there's Cornet. Is it Cornell at Burnley? He's been doing pretty well.
Cornet.
I'm not sure how you say it.
Yeah, me neither. Cornet. He's been doing fantastic. Again, another a young Frenchman, relatively unknown to a degree. He went there, I think, from Rennes. Did he go there from?
I'm not sure, to be fair. Don't know if he was a Lyon boy or not.
I don't know, but he's doing well. He's doing very, very well. And that's not going to cost you tons of money. But Burnley are absolute shit houses with these things. Look at how they've done with Tarkowski.
Yeah.
They're like, we want 50 M's. Yeah, he's worth 50 M's. He's worth every single penny. Yeah, James.
Sean's right.
James has come in and been a right asset to Burnley over the couple of years, and we feel that we should command an actual fee for him that's representative of what he's done for the club. And in the time that he's been here, he's been absolutely outstanding for me, a player which I trust, and I feel he can really, really produce performances going forward at top level. Fuck off, Sean Dyche.
You just need the ginger wig, mate, and I'd believe it.
Next week I'll do it. I'll bring the ginger wig and we'll bring the best impression that we possibly can. James Tarkowski was never in a gazillion years worth 40 or 50 M's. But I do see there is a case for what that player is worth to Burnley, because every single year they've been fighting relegation. And I hope this year it comes to them.
We'll see. I'm not confident that we sign anybody in January at all. I'd be surprised if we bought anyone.
You think we're gearing up for a bumper summer?
Not really.
Well, look. I honestly feel, that here it is.
No, I agree. I was just looking at the Prem for that one.
Here's my take, right? This is what I want to see. Yeah, okay. Whether it's January or summer.
It won't be. 2023 maybe.
Whether it's January or summer, I would quite like Raheem Sterling.
Oh no, not this again.
Mate, he was on fire tonight.
They're not gonna sell Raheem Sterling to their main rival for a title.
He was on fire tonight. I don't think they'd have a choice.
His ego's too big to come back to Liverpool.
I don't think it is. He's openly said that Liverpool's got a place in his heart, all of that. But it might be play acting for the cameras. But this is just what I would like to see. It probably won't happen because, like you said, we ain't going to sign anybody. But this is what I'd quite like to see. So I would like to see Raheem. Yeah,
might happen.
Calvin Phillips or Jude Bellingham. If I could pick between the two, I'd want Bellingham over Phillips, only because I feel Bellingham gives us that bit extra of longevity. You can build the midfield around Bellingham.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Bellingham in
both
there
fantastic
as
well.
players. Both sensational players.
Both realistic as well. But I do think, I know we have injuries, but without injuries, our midfield is stacked.
It is.
We need to be, if you're getting in a Phillips and a Bellingham, Keita's done, Chamberlain's in trouble. Milner's probably going to be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. So
I think so too.
I could see potentially one of them coming in the summer, depending on if Milner goes and maybe Keita or Chamberlain go. But yeah, one of them two would be doable, but only if there's movement out elsewhere. Milner will probably sign a new 12-month deal, and we'll carry on with Keita with one leg and recovering as we are.
I think Milner retires at the end of the season.
Possibly. I don't. He probably do a job at Leeds or somewhere else, but maybe Championship. Lead Newcastle back to the Premier League.
Emmanuel Dennis. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. The jury's out. The jury's out. Who's the lad? Who's the lad at Porto?
Yeah, a few people have been shouting his name out, but I wasn't that impressed with him against us.
Nah, mate, he's an absolute pace merchant. Like he was quick.
It's just a tricky one, isn't it? Because when you look at the Prem and a player's doing it in the Prem, you're like, well, he's going to be good.
But yeah, tried, tested, proven.
Absolutely. But the Portuguese and the Dutch league and the French league are such risks because they're such shit quality and standard. You know, every week you're playing against the bang average team, other than the 1 week where you play against the other decent team in that league. So it's always a risk. You know, look at Lazar Markovic. Oh, he's smashing it at Benfica. Oh, right, he's a National League player. So it's tough. It's a tough one. Luis Diaz might look great against Belenenses and, you know, Victor Setúbal, but when it comes to the Prem,
that's harsh on Markovic.
I don't think it is. You couldn't even do it at Hull.
Do you know why I think it's harsh on Markovic? Do you know why I think?
I don't think it's harsh enough.
Because he had a shit manager in Brendan Rodgers. To be fair, at the point where he came into the club, we were signing like Ricky Lambert. We'd signed Lambert, Emre Can. We signed everybody with that Suarez money. Everyone got bloody signed. And like what, you want a contract? Yeah, you want a contract? Yeah, you want a contract? Yeah,
you know it's not happening. We know it's happening. Milner's playing into his 40s.
But do you know what I mean? Though we just signed anybody and everybody. Yeah, you want a contract? Yeah, get a contract. Yeah. So I think it was a little bit harsh, and also he was a really, really young player in a foreign country. Like you can capitulate. I just don't think he had the mentality. I don't think it was a talent thing. I think it was just solely a mentality thing. He didn't have the mentality to compete week in, week out at the highest level at Liverpool Football Club, where the expectation is so high. So I have a bit of I have some empathy with him, but ultimately he's shit. But I have some empathy with it. I think there's a bit more to it than that as well. This is a very, very good point.
Yeah, no, there are exceptions to the rule. You know, Van Nistelrooy coming from the Dutch league, Cristiano Ronaldo
players are demons, coming across.
Yeah,
Portuguese players are demons. The mentality is insane.
All I mean is they have to be a serious baller.
They do
in the Portuguese league and literally lighting up the national, the European stage to take a risk on them. The Luis Diaz guy for me has got a way to go yet.
That is a fair point. That is a very, very fair point. They have to be lighting it up. But one thing I like Portuguese players, because their mentality is second to none. Like they fight for everything. Yeah. Like again, you look at Ruben Diaz at Manchester City. He's a warrior. Like as much as I don't like Manchester City, they're not my favorite club in the Premier League. But I recognise the fact that Ruben Diaz is a warrior.
Well, they're both on the score sheet tonight. I think that Bernardo Silva and Diaz, the two Portuguese.
Again, Bernardo Silva is an absolute shithouse of a player, but he's a warrior. Like he his ball retention is unreal. Like the ball sticks to his foot like glue. Like how did he make it out of that gap that we closed him down in the City game?
Yeah.
Like unreal. Like so, good. You look at Jota. Jota's come out of nowhere and been absolutely insane because of the mentality. Ronaldo as well. They've got a conveyor belt there, which is decent. So
might be at the World Cup though.
Which would be a terrible shame. Which would be a terrible shame because I think it would be Cristiano's last major tournament. So it would be a crying shame not to see one of the world's best or have been the world's best player to ever play the game at his potentially what would be his final tournament in the World Cup. So that would be a crying shame. But I reckon there's some sleek, savvy deals to be had on the European market in some of these leagues. But you're right. You look at Donnell. What's his name?
Oh, Marlon.
Marlon. He's not cut it at Dortmund. He's gone to Dortmund and he's faded away. And the Dortmund technical director basically called him out and said he has to do better.
That's what I mean. It's a risk. It's
a huge risk.
It's a tough one because to hit the heights in the Dutch league, you can be Van Nistelrooy or you can be Vincent Janssen. You can still be the top scorer in that league. But when you move to England, that's when you find out.
Yeah, you're right, and ultimately it is a risk, but I think the fee is representative of that risk. If we go out and we grab someone for £10 million for a club like Liverpool, it's not the end of the world. You'd probably see back most of that 10 M's. Do you see what I'm saying? If we,
I just think we're at that point now where if we're competing with Man City and Chelsea, we have to let the Leicesters of this world take that risk, and then we buy their best player. We need to take Grealish from Man City. Lukaku comes in for 90 million. If we realistically want to sustainably compete with these guys, we aren't the team that risk a Dutch unknown player anymore. We have to go and get the best player in that position that we need right now.
I totally agree with you. And in every other scenario, I would be agreeing with you. The difference is, and this is where we slightly differ from all those teams. We have Jurgen Klopp. That's the trump card. Now, the moment that trump card runs out, I feel the Liverpool board and the owners will be in a very tricky position, because will this philosophy, unless we go and get the next Klopp-esque kind of thing, would this philosophy work under another manager? I'm not so sure. And you've been very vocal about this before. About you think that we would run out of credit essentially, based on this kind of approach, this Moneyball kind of approach, which we're taking, the statistical approach which we're taking to our signings. But there is no doubt that the signings which we've made thus far have been what you would refer to as risk-free transfers. Minamino, £7 million. That's risk-free. We've probably recuperated all of that in international shirt sales. Those guys have all got Minamino shirts.
I think when we've needed it, we have spent the money. I know we spent money that we made on sales, but we bought a 65 million keeper, we bought a 75 million centre back, and this team is now hitting the 29s and the 30s. So I don't say that you should just stop buying any kind of under 20 million pound players, because there are really good deals out there. There's free transfers out there still that a big club, you can offer them a bit more wages than someone else. You're a bit more of a pull. So there's still good deals to go out there. But I just think, we've had a very quiet transfer window now for a couple of seasons. So we do need to start spending money. You've mentioned Calvin Phillips, Bellingham, Tielemans is another one. They're all going to cost 50, 60, 70 million quid. So we need to decide what we're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So if it was a choice, so before we close, so if it's a choice between Bellingham, Phillips, or Tielemans, who you having? Guys in the chat, if it's a choice between Tielemans, Bellingham, and Phillips, who are you taking? Go. Don't wait for inspiration. Answer the question, son. Who are you taking?
Okay. I think Calvin Phillips, we don't need as much yet because we've got Fabinho and Henderson. So it's a toss-up between Tielemans and Bellingham. And like you say, Bellingham's 5 years younger than him. So makes sense to go for him, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed with any of them, but yeah, I think Bellingham is the one that he looks like a Liverpool player, doesn't he? He would go in there, Liverpool the right attitude. He's at Dortmund, he's going to have that kind of Klopp kind of Dortmund-esque attitude as well. So I think he would be a really good signing. And if we can ship Cater off in a part exchange, then happy days.
So of those three, I would like Jude. Of those three, but I think we'll end up signing Basuma.
Yeah,
I do. I think we'll end up signing Basuma. And Basuma's been absolutely sensational at Brighton. But that's another show. Guys, thank you for joining us on the Red Sea Full-Time Show here. Your co-host, Thiago's father, along with Southern Scouser. What have we got coming up for the rest of the week? We're going to have full-time on Saturday, or is it Sunday we play Wolves?
Yeah, so I think tomorrow we're going to do the Wolves preview, aren't we?
Mm.
I think so. That's in 24 hours time. Wolves Red Sea full time will be, what time is this? Is it 3 o'clock Saturday again?
I think so.
Yeah, so we'll be on about 5 p.m. on Saturday.
Let's have a look. Liverpool.
I think it's another 3 o'clock game because I think Chelsea's the early, City's the late, so we're in the 3 o'clock games again.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. Damn
Yeah.
it.
So we'll be there again. So that's you at work, isn't it? Trying to couple watch of that one.
What,
And
mate?
then we're into the Milan, aren't we? Next, I think next midweek we've got Milan preview and Milan Red Sea full time. So Zlatan back in the team now.
Yeah, like with the main event, what we doing like 3 o'clock fixtures? We should be on the main
2 in a row
all the time. Like
Ridiculous.
the disrespect, the total
I
disrespect.
think we're on a lot after that. I think we're on every game till Christmas after that. So
yeah, we better be. We better be. Yeah, we
100%.
better be. We better be on every game before Christmas. We better be on. We
I
better be
don't
on
know,
the TV.
I don't know. I'm going to watch the Wolves game though, because it's going to be. I'm going to have to try to find some dodgy stream.
Yeah, so guys, our DMs are open for anywhere,
Any
for anywhere that
know.
you may know, or anybody you may know that can point us in the right
Red
direction.
full time will be very guesstimated. Yeah, it was a great goal, wasn't it? Or you have to just go, it was a good goal, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, so we're here for anywhere that you may know, or anybody you may know that can supply us with access to the 3 o'clock fixture. Wink, wink. But yeah, it's been Red Sea full time. I've been Thiago's father. This has been Summer Scouser. We're over and we're out.